Hi Cancer, welcome. Time for a check-in for you. So let's see what's going on in your world for the energies that we're on. We're moving into a new moon. So take what works, leave what doesn't. My prayers are for the greatest and highest good. I really appreciate everybody tuning in, being a part of my channel. So let's see what's going on in your world for these energies. Some of you may have some new love on the horizon. Could be a situation that you've given up waiting on and you're just going to move on. Just a few things coming through. Yeah, somebody is at the point where they're ready to like pick up the pieces and move on and not kind of hold on to the past. Whoever that is. 4. All right, Cancer, what's going on? Ooh, you start out as the Knight of Wands reversed. I'm going to tell you, I don't like the Knight of Wands reversed. And here's why. Because the Knight of Wands reversed is someone who talks a lot, but they don't have anything to say. So I feel like you might be dealing with somebody who you're going to have to either they cut you out or you cut them out. But they're tired of hearing all the talk. I feel like if something comes out, there's something learned about your person or a situation that you are dealing with. I want to say it's a person that you're involved with. I think you put a lot of effort into this relationship. However, you know, it got to the point where the two of you, I mean, it wasn't fair play. It was like somebody was talking a lot of talk, but they didn't mean any of it. All right, so I think you learned something that put you in a place of true depression. It's almost as I feel like, you know, you learned something. A secret comes out. I mean, we are dealing here with the 4 of Cups. Maybe you learned something about your person and somebody that they're involved with. Maybe they're still involved with that person. Maybe that person, they have a kid and they didn't tell you about it, okay? But I think you get to a point where you realize that you need to end this cycle with this person. It'd be the best thing for you if you did, to move on, to really cut this person out and move on, even if it leaves you alone, okay? And, you know, there's what's sitting in front of you is this Ace of Wands. So with that crowning you, I feel like you know, life is filled with ups and downs. If life was always good, then we wouldn't appreciate it when life was really good, because, you know, we have to get knocked down sometimes. And I feel like some of you may have been knocked off your feet with this relationship, but, you know, you grabbed a hold of the reins. You were tired of the talk. You wanted action. You know, actions speak louder than words. So whoever it is that you were dealing with, they said a lot of things. They promised a lot of things. A lot of things were going to happen between you and them, and none of them did. Instead, I feel like you were, you know, dealing with a little bit of heartbreak that may have come as a result. Somebody cut somebody out. So I think, though, as you see, you have to make some decisions about your future. Could be very confusing. This one, I think, threw you for a loop. You know, I think you went into this not thinking that they were going to be that way. And when I say that way, it's full of talk. I think you were thinking that they were more action-oriented. They didn't just talk about things, but they actually manifested things. And I think you were dealing with a situation where that wasn't happening. Instead, it was almost like, I want to say they took advantage of the relationship. So much so that they, you know, did things that probably weren't cool. Yeah. All right. Cancer, let's see what else we got going on. So this thing that you learn about them, I almost feel like they can't even talk their way out of it. I mean, you're really upset. You're really angry at what this person, because I think they were acting out of their own desires, their own needs, their own wants, rather than it being, you know, the two of you working together. And it was bound to come. It was just a matter of time before you were going to end this, because I think you didn't see it going anywhere. as much as you would have loved to have seen it going somewhere. What you learned about this person as time has gone by has really kind of made you understand that, you know, maybe you're better off on your own. Yeah, see, I do see you moving on, like picking up the pieces. Because I think you see there's more to life now. You know, it's like when you get to that point where, I mean, you can hang on to this person, the thoughts, what happened, and, you know, you can replay these stories over and over and over again. You know, but then one day, all of a sudden you click and you're like, you know, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna move on. This is over. This whole cycle has come to an end. Yeah, I'm by myself. I don't really want to be by myself. But as long as you're in this energy of, oh, poor me, I think you realize that you're not going to meet your next person. And I think you really want to meet your next person. And there might be somebody that, you know, you start to look at with new eyes. Because now you know what you don't want. You don't want somebody who's going to talk, and not really manifest what it is, your future, your life together. What else do we have for our Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs? Yeah, I mean, it didn't work between the two of you. I think now you see why things didn't work. I think you're starting to see, you know, perspective. I mean, when there's distance, when we separate from somebody and there's some distance between the two of us, it's amazing how we start to see the person in a whole new light. And I think that's kind of what's going on with you. I think you're starting to see why things never worked. You know, there was reasons. There was reasons. I mean, here it is. Something didn't work, Cancer, because somebody was not committed. Somebody was not emotionally available to this relationship. And I think as time went on, you started to see that, oh, well, you know, the future was in question. So when you learn something more about your person, I mean, and it could be, you know, their past. And I have a feeling it has something to do with the past. I mean, it makes it just easier for you to move on and not hang on so much. I mean, you know, for the longest time you feel like, oh, poor me, like nobody's ever going to want me. You know, this was it. Like, you know, we get into that energy of like, oh, you know, I'm so rejected and nobody's ever going to love me. And I think you're in that, you know, like nobody's ever going to love me and I'm always going to be by myself. And, you know, but I think that's because you're holding on to an old story. You know, not all relationships are going to be the same. Not all people are going to be the same. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not. They're not. So, you know, there's a part of you that wants to go back, but in the part of you, I think, knows that that may not be the right thing. So I think you're better off just taking some time for yourself. I mean, you're confused. You don't want to make the same mistake twice, you know, with somebody. I mean, I think you should take this time if you're apart from your person. I mean, because, I mean, somebody walked away. Somebody's like, I'm out of here. You know, but again, it's like some of the energy that's been going on with the other signs. It's like you close the door, you end it, you walk away from this person, but you never really close the door. You got to close the door, you know? And it's like, I'm sorry you have to be by yourself right now, but you're going to start to see things a lot differently. And you've been carrying a heavy weight with you. This relationship, this ending. You know, I think you're not really being as honest about the relationship to other people. I think everybody thinks you're moved on and everything's fine and hunky-dory, and it really is not. You know, there's part of you that's still very depressed over this ending that you had with this person. But it's like you knew you had to do what you had to do. You had to cut them out. And especially after you learn about some secret, you know, something about them. You know, and I feel like for some people, it really could be that you find out that they've got a kid and they didn't tell you that. Well, that puts a big kink in the picture, because if there's a kid, then chances are there's an ex. And if there's an ex, now the whole dynamic between all of you guys have totally changed, right? So I think you see that you had to make a decision about this relationship. As much as you loved him, I mean, you guys had a lot of passion. I see that. You guys had a lot of passion. I mean, you guys could do it. Right? No question there. But I don't think you had, you know, the substance for a long-term, forever type of relationship. But now you see things differently. You know, so this is a break from the past. I mean, this is a cycle. You may have been with this person on and off. Maybe you've been with them for a long time. But I think now you're at that point where it's like you're starting to see your patterns. You're starting to see why you ended up with somebody who hurt you so badly, that left you so depressed. I mean, there's a sadness that comes with an ending, and I feel like that's where you're at. It's been painful. This has been really painful. But it's for the best. It's for the best. So you can look back at all of this, but I see this empowering you, okay? Because whatever this situation was, it hurt you. You know, it hurt you. I mean, you're depressed over this ending, over this person, what they did, how they were with you. And I feel because they were all talk. You know, they told you everything you wanted to hear. They promised you everything you wanted to be promised. But none of it was real. And if it was all on their terms for you to go along with them. Yeah, so you might have been dealing with somebody who was a real player, very charming, like on the outside. Oh my gosh, everybody just adored them. You know, but they were two-faced. You know, they had two sides to them. You know, as charming as they were, as big of an asshole as they probably were. Yeah. So I think emotions started to run amok. I think you started to shift. You started to change. You know, because if you learned that your person was cheating on you, you know, they were out and about, had a good time. Maybe they had too much of a good time, and then you learned about that good time. That would definitely put you in this place. Oh my gosh, bottom of the deck, we have the World card. So even though you're really depressed at this ending, I think as time goes on, you're going to see it really was for the best. You know, because this is about bringing balance into your life, and this person wasn't doing that. If anything, they were taking that from you, and you know, you can't pretend. You can't pretend it didn't affect you. So I think you started to see the value of your worth. I think you really started to see you as somebody who, you know, you deserved more. Good for you. You deserved more. All right, anything else for our Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs for these energies right now that are going on mid-September? Well, it's September 20th. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's time to break out of this cycle. You know, if it's over and this relationship, it ended, and you're still hanging on to all of these feelings and thoughts of, you know, wow, I can't believe it went down the way it did. I think it's time to really move on from all of that. I mean, you're really confused. I mean, it's almost like you're so ready to, like, grab the reins and move on, but there's a part of you that still is confused that it ended. Why did it really end? Well, it ended because there was a lot of game playing. You know, there was a lot of game playing. Like I said, this person, they talked a lot. They had a lot to tell you. They had a lot to say, you know, but they didn't mean any of it. And then if you called them out on it, oh, they would talk in circles, wouldn't they? Oh my gosh. All the reasons why it wasn't going to happen just yet. Because this, because that, because this. You know, don't worry, we'll do it in the wintertime, you know, when it's quiet. And, you know, there was never any commitment. There was always a lot of, like, bullshit. But I do see a new opportunity coming your way, all right? So even though it's hard to be alone, even though it's hard to kind of, you know, swallow the pill of what it feels like, you know, to be all alone after being in a relationship, I think there's a lot of good that you're just not seeing yet, okay? So, you know, feel what you feel, process what you process, but don't stop living life. All right, Cancer, that's what I've got for you. Take what works, leave what doesn't. Thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you at the next reading. Until then, bye now.